Right. Tonight's full council meeting. Item 1, civility and respect pledge. Civility and respect should be at the heart of public life, and good governance is fundamental to ensuring an effective and well-functioning democracy at all levels. The intimidation, abuse, bullying and harassment of councillors, clerks and council staff, in person or online, is unacceptable, whether by councillors, clerks, council staff or public members. Any person adjudged by the chair of the meeting to have breached this rule may be asked to apologise, withdraw their statement and or leave the meeting. One dispense with. Public participation. If we start at this end and work along. Mr. Barrett? Would you like to say something?
Yes, I would. This week, I've been taking further interest in the Future Coast Bude operation, mainly because I haven't seen enough of it being promoted. There is a survey going around at the moment. I'm not sure when that survey started. It ends on February the 8th. As far as my opinion goes, the more people you get responding to a survey, the more realistic, accurate, proper it becomes. If people don't know it's running, and I've spoken to lots of people this week who didn't know it was running, you're not going to get a proper representative return, in my view. It's about flood protection for Bude. It's about coastal erosion. We've got one chance to get this right, and we're an example. We are a test case, if you like. If we get it wrong, we look idiots. And quite frankly, in my view, we've already squandered one chance at this. I don't want to see that happen again. Like I say, I've been disappointed that that survey hasn't been advertised. I was glad to see that reassurances from this body that councillors and the council are going to be promoting it. I would like to see as much public into that survey as possible. I don't know how much time we've lost already, but bear in mind it closes on the 8th of February, so if you can kick somebody up the arse to do it, if that's your interest, please do so. Several people have told me they are disappointed that the breakwater can't be spoken about, and that sort of goes back. One person said, I'm not going to fill in the bloody survey because it's just a reissue of something that came from times before. And that was based on a very strange question in their view on, what was it? Do you identify as the same gender you were born? Frankly, I don't know what the hell that's got to do with coastal erosion or flooding. Because if our houses flood, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, we're all going to suffer from the same dam. So that was something that was put to me pretty bluntly, and as a reason not to do the survey, which I hope I persuaded that person to do the survey and you know, give the answers that they were very heartfelt about. There's some computer modelling going to be done apparently. I've seen some people in high-vis jackets going around taking measurements. I think that was just before Christmas actually. I don't know exactly what they're up to. I've seen the Environment Agency busy down at the weir this week. So things are going on. I'm not quite sure what they are. You probably know better than me. Support Bude being rescued as much as we can, please. Thank you.
Sorry,
I just wanted to respond to that. Just a small question about the survey. Forgive me that I have not personally seen it. That question in relation to the gender question that they were having, was there an option there to say prefer not to say? Or was it just...
To be honest, I had to say yes.
Because I would agree with you on the basis that it's not at all relevant to floodings in Bude whatsoever.
Yeah.
So if people felt like they don't want to answer that question, they should have an option to say, I don't need to tell you that.
Yeah.
But
I can help. The answer is no. It's a yes. It's a yes.
Yes or no. That I as a queer person myself who defends every single letter of my community, I know for a fact that that question is not necessary because it's an environmental survey, and that kind of data isn't really important as to their opinions.
The thing that upset me about it was the person who saw that question took it as reason not to do the survey because he said it's a load of bloody nonsense repeated from before. And which is a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a shame. It should be, yeah.
Yeah, as you say, it's an environmental survey. But hey ho. Yeah. Mr. Jewell, Chris.
Thank you very much. As you would know, because you're one of the trustees, we are in the process of in Canal Member Society of producing the final bicentenary booklet about the canal, part of which will be in Cornish. But there's a bit of delay because unfortunately we no longer have the services of the late Mrs. Jackie Stevens, who used to do a lot of work for us. But our friend Michael Moore is struggling with that, and he assures me that he hopes to finish it this year, and he will go and tie it in this year. But I'm not sure. And of course, they'll then be on sale for £1 each. And I think we normally give all the councillors a copy for free. So that you know what it is to do with the bicentenary from 1823 to 1825, and it's been the last one. It would seem that it wasn't a clear decision to stop building. I think they ran out of money, but it is based on that.
Mr. Jennings, did you want to?
They sent a postcard around, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. If you haven't got a smartphone, you've had it.
No.
Why the hell didn't they send the survey out in a proper manner?
Yeah, no, I have put something on.
But, yeah,
But anyway,
they make it so difficult for people to do, people don't bother.
sorry. I think I recognise the face.
You might recognise it from your November meeting.
Yes, yes.
From North Community.
Yes.
So I simply want to address item 13 on your agenda.
Do you want to speak now about it or wait till item
I can wait
13?
to item 13 if you would like me to. I just thought now was the only chance I had. It's your call, isn't it, I think?
Might be better.
Yeah, I might be better in.
I'm happy to wait.
I'm here for item 13 as well. I don't suppose there's any chance we could bring item 13 up the agenda?
Cheers.
You, Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Do I have, well, if I propose that we bring item 13 up the agenda, do we need a seconder? What's your choices, Chair?
I'll second if you want support.
Yeah. All those in favour of moving item 13 up the agenda?
Where?
Haven't decided where yet. I'll decide that in a minute. Right, so we've public participation. To receive apologies and accept the reasons for any non-attendance.
So I have apologies from Councillor Gibbs for personal reasons, Councillor Dorr for personal reasons, Councillor Richins Pat for reasons of being unwell, Councillor Richins Frank for personal reasons, and Councillor Corrigan Turner Lorraine for reasons of being unwell.
Thank you. To receive any declarations of interest on items on the agenda and agree any dispensations. Haven't had anything in writing, so I'll tick that one off. To receive the Mayor's report. The Mayor is not here. I have deputised for him recently in opening the hub. There's an event I'm at on Saturday for him as well. So I'll save that. Right, reports from Cornwall councillors.
Can I go first?
I have one very brief item, which you may have seen today. There's a consultation on introducing charging for some car parks, which includes the Housebridge car park in Stratton. And also, as Vicky Showback's not here, the viewpoint at Poundstock. So anyone with an interest, please do complete the survey.
Is it online only?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I have
I have a small point of information relating specifically to those two car parks. It was tried many years ago by the old North Cornwall District Council. I believe some farmer with a sort of JCB attachment on his tractor dealt with the machine that went into Viewpoint North, and something similar befell down at Howells Bridge, and it was never tried again.
I had like last month, I have a report on something that I don't believe there's a space for me to necessarily speak on, other than maybe now.
This is Cornwall Council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I do have something to report on, and there's no item where I could reasonably do so.
John.
Thank you.
Oh, but perhaps Peter LeRoy first.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally fine.
Thank you. You're giving me precedence.
Yes.
Quite like
Um, it's worth mentioning very briefly the Cornwall Council budget consultations, which are now out, and also consultations on the priorities of the current council, which are now out. I can happily forward anyone who's particularly interested the links to both of those, but Cornwall Council is effectively consulting on an increase of 4.99%, which is effectively the maximum that the government allows. I wouldn't wish to say that any councillor would vote for that with massive pride and ambition that we're going to take more money off the people of Cornwall. However, we're forced into that situation by central government, because if we don't effectively increase it by the maximum, they reduce our core spending the following year by the amount that we don't. So it's effectively a requirement of central government that we do that. And I'd also remind ourselves that 2% of that 4.99% increase is ring-fenced specifically for adult social care. And bearing in mind that the government do not finance that properly, we are increasing by 2.99% our core spending power, which is only a relatively small part of the total income of Cornwall Council. I've sat through hours and hours and hours at Cabinet of budget meetings, and the most recent news that you may remember, there were, I won't name their flavour, but they were Cornwall MPs proudly said and made a big press release just before Christmas that there was tens of millions of pounds extra for Cornwall due to their diligent work. And actually what it turns out, when you read the proposals for budget from central government, those tens of millions of pounds are effectively only the increases that you will all pay as council taxpayers. There's actually nothing more from central government. In fact, there's significantly less from central government, to the tune of leaving us with a perceived gap as of today of somewhere in the region of £13 million that we need to fill in by either withdrawing or adjusting services. We are going back to central government specifically because the second homes council tax premium of 100%, they're now assuming is part of our core spending. So what they've done is they've effectively reduced the money they put into Cornwall by the amount of money, approximately £22 million that we take from second homes, which I think was very unfair, because I voted for that originally on the principle that it would give extra revenue to Cornwall Council that could be used for really good purposes, for instance, supporting people in temporary and emergency accommodation. That's probably the most news that I've got. I've been engaging on lots of other stuff. I do want to give a very quick mention to an event that we had on the 18th of December through the Community Area Partnership. We had a housing summit in Bude. A lot of councillors around the table attended. There's some really good information coming through from that, and some really good feedback on a number of levels, and we are looking at rolling that out to all other community area partnerships that wish to take it up. I'll mention also very quickly Summerlees Boardwalk, the iconic beach huts, which are on Summerlees Beach. The boardwalk itself is all rotted, it's been condemned. At the moment it's closed off. I was worried that Cornwall Council's treatment for that would be just to remove it and take it away, but they have assured me as of yesterday, that they are going to mend it and re-establish it before Easter next year. And you probably won't be surprised that as cabinet member, not minister, I'm escalating myself now, for housing, we didn't suffer too badly from Storm Goretti up here in Bude. We did notice it, and I absolutely noticed it. But if you go down west in Cornwall, there are communities that were absolutely decimated. And there were some trees that came down actually onto council-owned properties, and I've had to spend an awful lot of time supporting the residents in those properties and looking quite carefully about future management of trees, in particular big macrocarpa type trees, as we used to have in our triangle. There are lots of mature macrocarpas throughout Cornwall dotted in our communities that do present a significant danger, so we might have to do something about those. Happy to take any questions.
I'll start this end. Pat.
I'd like to thank you for actually doing something about the roundabouts up by Morrison's and People Vets. I think it's a miracle we've actually got something done. They look much better, so I'm really pleased about it, but also putting a request to see whether you're going to come back and perhaps plant some nice shrubs up there, or something that looks a bit more appealing to people coming into the town. But I am pleased you did actually get something done, so thank you for that. And one complaint I've got is, when are we going to see some super fast chargers in Bude for electric cars? Because we've had a big problem over Christmas with families charging at our house instead of in the car parks here. So it's been a bit of a nightmare for them. Visitors are going to come, and I think, I haven't got an electric car, but they will want to supercharge. It's causing a lot of problems for visitors that come to me personally, let alone those who will come for holidays and things. So there was an interactive map. I did put a request in for us to get extra ones, but it's gone into Cornwall Council's web, wherever it is, and it's just lost in there. But I do have the information if you need it.
Yeah, thank you. So we did have some chargers put into Bude, but they're not super fast, as you probably know. They're the
7
snail speed, 7.5 kilowatt jobs, and they're on Quicklett's car park and Summerlee's car park. I was really disappointed when they weren't super fast chargers, because I do have an electric car, but it's so small you don't plug it into a proper one. You unplug the microwave and plug it in. I was really critical of Cornwall Council when I found out that project didn't give us any super fast chargers. And what I can say, and this is beyond the council, is that the fuel filling station on Ben Coolham Road, they have got a live planning application in to put super fast chargers in there.
Excellent. So my next question would be then, if they do put them in, will they form part of the infrastructure of Bude and be counted as we've got them? So instead of having one, we might have 5. Do you see what I mean? Well, is it Cornwall Council's intention not to do anything about it, but private enterprise to start putting these things in?
The council would rather private enterprise did it, right? But because charging units, as we have found out to our own somewhat cost here ourselves, we did have 2 7.5 kilowatt chargers out the front, which we have ended up in an awful tangle contractually with the supplier. And the technology moves at such a rate that if you installed a super fast charger today, probably in 2.5 or 3 years' time, it might be something very slightly different. So from a council point of view, it would rather private enterprise picked it up, because these things do cost huge amounts of money and it's perceived to be a risky investment.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but any way they can add to it to help us, the people, local people and the people coming in, would be great.
Agree.
I was told that Morrison's had
They are.
permission to put them in, but I don't know if there's a schedule for that.
We had that planning. There was a plan came in, but we couldn't determine whether they were super fast or just a 7 kilowatt.
I think it was more than 7. I don't know about super fast.
Yeah.
But,
But if we can encourage businesses to put in the high speed ones, that would be great. So if we get any say in that, that'd be, definitely if it comes through planning again, I'm sure we would try and note that we want that if we can have it, It's making our voices heard really, and letting them know that we've got a lot of problems with this electric vehicles and everything. But otherwise, I think they're doing quite a good job. So thank you for that.
on the roundabouts, they are supposed to be cut twice a year.
I know.
On their schedule. So let's see.
Yeah, but it does look better.
It does. Well, the Morrison's one does. I'm not sure about the other one.
Yeah, well, it's definitely doing better. Well, thank you anyway for even taking it up.
Councillor Jennings, did you have something for?
I was in Bude, was it Monday morning, two women come up to me, apparently, and I haven't found this out yet, but I should look into it next week. One of the old age pensioners' bungalows has gone to somebody from St. Day. Do you know all about it?
Not specifically, I don't get involved in individual cases, but I've said to you before that Cornwall Council runs a
You that's walking around Bude getting the most.
Cornwall Council runs a needs-based allocation system. So if somebody in St. Day is in more need than somebody in Bude, the chances are they will get it.
Well, yeah. Which is brilliant. I'm glad to see our councillors are standing up for the local people then to get homes.
It's a Cornwall Council.
And you're called both formal councillors?
Yeah.
Why aren't you should be fighting for the people of Bude to get their homes?
I am.
Eh? And Stratton. Yeah, well, no, he's Bude, she's Stratton. That's her job, fight for Stratton. And what's happening with that place up Stratton that they kick that woman out of? And is that being redone?
I can't talk about individual cases.
Collar him outside the meeting, you might be lucky. I doubt it.
Well, I mean, I'll further it. Like, I mean, clearly, I'm 7 months into role as cabinet member for housing, right? And I've had to work with a budget which I've inherited from the previous administration. And that excuse I know won't wash for too long, but I have stood very strong around the cabinet table, and I've insisted that there be more capital finance be made available to Cornwall Housing Limited in order to deal with the situations as you're describing. I was in a meeting only earlier this morning where I was telling Cornwall Housing Limited that the length of time of houses being void between tenants is far too long, and we're reducing it as quickly as possible, but it does cost money. They haven't had money, and I've insisted and got the confidence of my cabinet colleagues to put a further £10 million a year over the next 4 years into Cornwall Housing. But the results won't come overnight, but that will improve. If it doesn't, I don't deserve my role.
No, I'm not criticising you, you're doing a good job, but it's not you that's walking around Bude getting the mums. I am telling these people that they want to kick off at you and her, and then you can put up with it.
Yeah,
right. I can't remember names.
Thank you. And I want to share my distaste towards the funding situation that went on with the central government. That level of deceit shouldn't be tolerated, I feel. What I have came to report on is that when last month's meeting had occurred, I had made a proposal for the next meeting that we could vote on an agreement to make a call for Cornwall Council to stop using bailiffs to collect council tax. It's been supported by Citizens Advice Bureau, as well as a group known as ACORN. This was done in Falmouth City Council. They made a call for it, and it got a lot of attention. They did actually make a proper response to it, but I feel like one town council is not enough, and we should be standing by them. It is an archaic system. Despite the intent of it, it does seem to target a lot of really vulnerable people who get incredibly distressed as a result of it when people come to their doors and they haven't got the money prepared to pay the council tax that seem to be only going up. So I want to make a call for Cornwall Council to do so, and I made a ask for it to be a agenda item for the next meeting. Yesterday, when I had checked the agenda, admittedly I didn't check it the moment it got sent, because I was trying to enjoy the new year and also sort out my moving away. But when I had checked it, it was not an item on the agenda, and I was rather confused because I believe I went through the traditional methods of asking for one, and I don't feel like there was much more I could have done to make sure it would be there. So when I had asked about it last night, I was told that I would get a response the next day, and I haven't gotten such. So I just want to ask about it now. I wouldn't want to hold it off for the next month, considering I won't be able to be here to fight for it, for something that I believe I have the most passion for because I brought it forward. So I ask if we can have it as a revised agenda item for this meeting, since it should have been there anyway.
I'm going to have to
Yeah.
say I do not have knowledge of these technicalities.
Yeah, I can.
Sorry, on the spot.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I apologise that it's an oversight in terms of the preparing the agenda. So, yeah, that's our fault. It is difficult to make a resolution on an item which isn't on the agenda, so we are a little bit stuck. Trying to think if there's another meeting that it could go to.
Next one,
Really,
C&D.
It's not next week though, is
I'm
it?
gone on Monday, I'm afraid. I can't exactly, unless there was something this weekend, but that's not going to happen, is it? I understand that it was a mistake. Obviously, the period makes sense why a lot of things maybe get thrown to the side and such, but it was something that was accepted to be an item for this meeting. So I know it's not an agenda item that's been posted out, but it was supposed to be, and thus I think it should be allowed to be done here.
I will start at that end of the table. Mr. O'Sullivan.
Yeah, obviously the agenda setting is the responsibility of the town clerk. And as somebody who has had one or two requests for agenda items declined myself in the past, it is something that you just have to grin and bear. Also, I've been looking for the wording, and I should have looked for this previously, but I think we have the ethos, or the council discusses and resolves on items over which it has control. And we don't, this council doesn't have control over how Cornwall Council follows up on collection of council tax. So it would be a recommendation or an expression of our, if it was approved by the council, of course. So, but we still wouldn't have any control over the matter. So, we've got a lot of stuff that we have got control over, and perhaps we should devote our time to that rather than something we have no control over.
Just Councillor Colville, did you want to say something? And then
I was just going to ask if it would be in order for this council to have some kind of indicative vote to say something of to the extent that this chamber believes that it is inappropriate for Cornwall Council to use bailiffs to collect council tax arrears, and leave it as that, not have a formal resolution to do anything, just an indicative vote.
I'm being told that.
Yeah, like I said, there's not really such a thing as an indicative vote or not a vote. I mean, I must, I apologise again for the oversight, not including it. As Councillor Sullivan mentions, I mean, this is not an area that we have any control over, and I wouldn't normally be keen to address a matter when we have a lot of other town council activities to consider. Having said that, obviously Falmouth have already expressed their support, so it would have been possible to have had a conversation, but it is difficult now that it's not on the agenda. I think there were others who wanted to speak.
I was wondering if I could make a response though to what was said by Councillor O'Sullivan. In this situation, I understand that you've had agenda item proposals that have been declined. This situation was that it wasn't declined, it was actually approved during the last meeting that it would come up. It just by error has not shown up. So that is a different circumstance. And secondly, in relation to it not necessarily being in our control how Cornwall Council decides to collect their taxes with bailiffs or not, we do have the power, however, to make a call and a request for Cornwall Council to stop doing so. We have that power to communicate with them, and I am asking this town council if we can do that.
Councillor Tilsley would like to.
How do you know that the county have done all the due diligence up to the point that they have to put in the bailiffs? How do you know that knowledge? You have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. I don't think you're qualified to start arguing that point.
I'm not, but certainly the Citizens Advice Bureau would be.
Well, then
who are the people who suggested this idea that town council should be adopting this?
Well, I know people who the last ditch is the bailiffs.
But also, this
People
is
will not get other properties. That
this
they
would
shouldn't
be a matter as to whether or not we vote to have this discussion,
I'm
not
just-
as a talk on whether it.
I'm also conscious of the fact that we
Yes,
have
this
actually
is not
got,
on the agenda.
yeah, it's not on the agenda. We've got members of the public waiting,
Yes, quite.
and we've agreed that we've bumped theirs up the list. Very quickly, Councillor Jennings and Councillor Moore.
If these people don't pay up, people like myself are going to have to pay more because the council have got to get the money from somewhere. And if these people know they're not going to get hammered by the bailiffs, they just won't bloody bother.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I'm telling you it is.
Yeah, that's, can we keep our opinions and respect each other's opinions, okay? Councillor Moore.
I think that the item's not on the agenda, and that's that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just we move on. If Cornwall Council consults with parish and town councils for a response, that's fair enough. The council could then respond. But I don't think it's something that the council should be trying to tell another council how to run its business.
Sorry, we're going to have to move on.
All right.
Right, where are we? Reports from Cornwall councillors. Minutes. Members of the public, what we're going to do is we're going to bump you up if we could get like the housekeeping bits done first, so we don't forget them. Full council to approve the minutes of the previous meeting, 11th December 2026. 2025?
Yes, well spotted.
Yeah.
If we move to the future.
Yeah.
That's just a test.
That's testing, yeah. No, I didn't think I'd been asleep that long. Kevin, are you proposing?
Proposing.
Oh, Mr. Councillor Tilmsley, seconding. All in favour? Committees. To receive and note the minutes of the committee meetings below and approve any recommendations. Corporate and Democratic Committee meeting, 18th December 2025. Proposed, seconded, all in favour? Delete that one. Yeah, I did wonder why we got culture and heritage in twice. Yeah. Planning Committee, 10th of December 2025.
Wasn't there?
I was, I chaired it. I'll propose it.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All those in favour?
Just noting that one.
Oh, yeah.
Against, or do we have an abstention?
That's an abstention. I wasn't there.
I forgot to do that on the last one. Right, Culture and Heritage Committee, 8th of January 2026, postponed to 14th of January 2026. The only thing I wonder is the committee hasn't actually approved the minutes yet, have they? So
This will be taken by full council.
so, but then goes back to committee.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll agree the minutes.
That just seems a bit
the
wrong way round.
I would like to propose an amendment to one of the first line of the recommendations.
Yeah, we need to. I thought you were proposing that we agreed the minutes first.
You have to do that before I make an amendment to what we've recommended. In the
I'm told we do have to.
So they're done separately. So we do the minutes and then we do the
We're not agreeing the
recommendations.
minutes, we're only noting them. We don't have to vote on them, which is just a note. We're
Okay.
not agreeing them.
Okay. So we note the minutes, but then we do need to.
Right, okay, so that they are just noted at this stage.
Carefully.
So I don't need a proposer or seconder for that one.
We do, same as the.
Right, proposed, seconded, all those in favour?
Noting the minutes.
Right,
And
if
now
we
the
do,
recommendation from that meeting.
what, the recommendation from that meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have an amendment to the wording. So in the recommendations, it currently says using the new BSTC vision and strategy and the detailed findings of this working group. So the suggestion is that we remove the word the new BSTC vision and strategy. So it just now says using the detailed findings of this working group. And that's based on the fact that the vision and strategy has yet been decided upon and approved. And so what we would like to do is get this going and move this forward. So if we take out that line, we can essentially move this forward. And obviously, when the vision and strategy is approved, that document will then be used will be passed on to whoever does the business plan, obviously, and will form part of that.
Makes sense to me. Happy to second anything that makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope I do make sense.
So we're taking out,
the new BST vision and strategy, and it should just say using the detailed findings of this working group, and then the rest remains the same.
I can read the whole recommendation now, if that helps.
yeah,
Fine. Resolved to recommend to full council that using the detailed findings of the working group to address the key themes relating to the clarity of the castle's purpose and its relationship with BSTC generally, that a professional consultant be engaged to provide an independent business plan helping to define a clear vision for the Castle and Heritage Centre and an appropriate staffing structure to support it. And the rest you can read. But that was the substantive change.
yeah. Did everybody receive the report that went out this morning that this is about?
No.
Right, just checking.
And the others.
Okay. Right, so who's proposing?
We've done it.
Yeah,
I think it was done.
Right, were you seconding? All those in favour? Get the finance stuff out of the way and then to approve finance report, schedule of payments between 12th of December 2025 and 15th of January 2026 attached. One quick scan if you wasn't
Vicky.
Raise a hand up.
Yeah, sorry, Councillor James.
Why is the Lord's Court gas £135?
There's actually free costs to Lord's Court. I noticed the same.
How the hell can you have that much gas? There's no bugger living there.
I believe it might be to do with the shop. That's what I would take that as.
Sorry, say again, Vicky?
I believe it might be to do with the shop.
But there's no contra entry therefore on the accounts that the shop is repaying. There's actually three elements here, as Councillor Jennings says. There's the gas, there's electric, and there's water.
We would have to.
A total of £300 for the month.
No, because as you say, contra entries.
Is there a contra entry for the shop as a special organisation?
But they're not paying it, we're paying it.
So we're paying for a commercial enterprise's utility bills. That's never normal.
Make clear to council at the time of purchase.
So is that a function of the lease or? I think council taxpayers would be horrified.
Look to the shopkeepers are beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'll be telling them tomorrow.
I think there's a real issue there personally.
It's terrible, isn't it? So if they're paying so much a month per rent, time you take out the gas, electric, and water, they got pretty cheap rent, haven't they? I should be paying my gas and electric and water.
It wasn't this council that voted not paying mine. That's the trouble.
Well,
Indeed, all the shop.
hey, I'm thinking about it, yeah.
The only thing I didn't understand, which is why I asked for a copy now, was facilities booking system.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's a new system to improve to manage the bookings of the Park House Centre, which at the moment is very convoluted and it's paper-based and it involves lots of ledgers and is very complex. So our Park House coordinator has done some training and talked to me about a new system which will then also improve invoicing and all kinds of things. So it's
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, no.
that's what that's all about. It's going to make our systems much more efficient and save for a lot of time.
Right. No, I just saw facilities and was thinking,
Steve.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right,
I wonder
yeah,
what,
no,
what's Steve up to?
That's to do with the
Yeah,
park.
so I was just going to be exactly the same question, because one of the councillors, Poppy, came along to tell us about the booking system at the Park House. So that is the Park House booking system. So is it operational yet? Because I tried to look online today and I was having a bit of difficulty with it.
She started working on it in-house, but it's not publicly available yet. But she's done lots of training on it and things, so she's working her way through the process of
When she brought the first initial discussions to the Cultural Heritage meeting, are we going to have another update at that meeting about what's happened since?
Poppy will be coming to all future
Yeah,
meetings.
so that's the outcome of that initial discussion, so that's it. Brilliant, thank you very much.
Perhaps if Park House was in brackets or something.
Yeah, that would have been clearer.
Anybody else? Any?
Propose the permits and noted.
I'll second that.
Seconded.
I'll second it.
All those in favour?
Reluctantly.
Passed. Thank you. Was that was just the first one, wasn't it?
Yes.
Schedule of payments to be made on 16th of Jan. Proposed.
Made. Yeah.
Seconded. All those in favour? Right. Having got most of the housekeeping out of the way, if we move item 13 up the agenda. We have had a report on this, and I'm hoping every councillor has read it. Would you?
I'd like to. So I really just want to explain why I think this is important and why we requested that the council consider supporting the request. So as I understand it, the only way the council can dispose of the asset that is on Lord's Court, there are three ways I understand which the council can dispose of an asset. One is to put it in the open market. Second is to transfer it to a community organisation. And the only way they can do that is if it's listed as an asset of community value. And the third, as I understand it, by appealing to the Secretary of State. Can I ask if, first of all, if that's like a correct understanding?
So we've got open market. What's the second one?
Transferring it whilst listed as an asset of community value.
Yeah.
In which case the council can determine the contract, if you like, with the organisation in which they're transferring the asset to. And the third one, say, is by appealing to the Secretary of State to effectively pick a preferred buyer.
Councillor O'Sullivan.
I believe there is another way, is to insert a clawback clause. For example, if the council was to transfer it at a very favourable rate, but insert a clause that it would have to be returned at a similar rate. We did actually do that at Marham Church, where we transferred council land to a CIC for £1, but there's a clawback clause that says if the CIC ever goes to try and sell it, you have to first offer it to the parish council for £1. So I believe there is a mechanism. There are other mechanisms.
Well, if that's the case, that's good to know. I will simply finish my statement anyway. So the reason we asked for this, because I wasn't aware of that, but I understood the only way the council can actually transfer without putting it on the market was by having it listed as an asset of community value. And that allows the council to determine exactly what are the terms of that transfer. I understand that it's called council. Can I just finish?
Yes, yeah, I was.
And then you can debate your I understand that this Cornwall Council make a decision. I understand that Cornwall Council have their own criteria to determine. I understand that this council can't actually help Cornwall Council make that decision. But support for that particular mechanism, unless there are other ways of doing it, as I see it, is the only way to avoid the property going on the open market. If the property has to go on the open market, obviously that incurs additional charges and means that, as far as we're concerned, and KCH are concerned, we then have to face potential bids from other people. So it would actually jeopardise what we are trying to achieve. So I suppose really what I'm asking is that the council determine the best way to get this property into our hands without having to put it on the open market. So I would encourage you not to, you're looking confused.
Yeah, I usually do.
You can ask me in a minute, but if we are going to take this property on, we don't want to have to be bidding for it on the open market, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, quite.
It's a Cornwall.
So you need to work out the way to do it.
My understanding of the position that we are currently in is that Cornwall Community Land Trust had 4 months to come forward with a business plan. Now, if you're telling this council tonight that before those 4 months are up, you will be coming to us with a business plan, then we will be able to assess that business plan, and if it is the will of this council to go forward with it, then we will be able to do whatever instruments are necessary in order to pass that asset to yourselves. If we make this an asset of community interest, which I believe we should do, what we will actually also do, the implication of that, is if Cornwall Community Land Trust is not able to come forward with a business plan which this council considers viable, we will then be in a position where we cannot put it on the open market. Now, I don't think we should put it on the open market. I think it would be a great mistake and a great slap in the face to the residents of Stratton. But I think we need to understand the implications. Now, I think the vote of many people around this table will be determined as to whether this is basically a housekeeping exercise prior to Cornwall Community Land Trust taking over, or whether it is something where Cornwall Community Land Trust may, or North Cornwall Community Land Trust, sorry, may not be in a position to do so, but we will still be locked into having this as an asset of community interest. So basically, are you in a position to put a business case forward?
I'll come back.
Yep.
I'll keep standing up. We're still working on a business plan. But as I'm sure you know, it's very difficult to put a business plan together when you have no idea what price you're being asked for the property. So at this stage, I've got a whole bunch of figures based around the redevelopment and refurbishment costs. But I can't put that into practice until I know what it is this council is asking for. Now, maybe I've misunderstood what it is you're actually asking from us. When you say you're going to assess our business plan, as I understood it, what we from back was saying, here's our business plan, and yes, we can deliver what it is we've said we're going to deliver, rather than you then determining whether or not that business plan is any good, and then determining how you're going to transfer the property to us, which will just knock it further and further down the line. When, as I understood, you wanted to get rid of the property as soon as you possibly could. And just one other point is that you don't make this an asset of community value, Cornwall Council do.
Yeah.
Yes.
What recommend to?
Cool.
Councillor O'Sullivan, then Councillor.
Yeah, I was just going to qualify my earlier remark because I see something you say from the town clerk that, of course, I'm not a lawyer, so anything I just say does have to have a certainly come with a health warning. But I think it's actually a bit similar to the earlier item we were discussing. We don't make the decision. whatever we decide, it'll be for whatever we recommend, it'll be for Common Council to decide anyhow. So we don't really have much say in the matter. As regards putting some sort of delay on sale, it's not actually sale. The terminology in the legislation is a relevant disposal. And even if Common Council was to make it an asset of community value, the very next day, this council could inform Common Council that of our intention to enter into a relevant disposal of the asset, and then the 6 month, or well, the initial 6 week moratorium would be triggered straight away. So it's not it doesn't have the risks as much risk as we're as no disrespect as is being suggested. It's not going to affect it. It's going to, because it's going to take a while to market it and all that sort of stuff. If it's a benefit, we did say that we would help the housing trust as much as we could. It isn't going to, whatever we recommend isn't going to make much difference anyhow, or little or no difference. I think it might be fit with our kind of commitment to say we will support you if we indicate that we approve.
I confess I think I take a contrary view to Councillor O'Sullivan's. I take a very clear, simplistic view on this. We had the meeting. We agreed that there would be a 4-month period before we would then come to a final decision about retention or sale or whatever. The advice from the officers is that this is an unnecessary complication potentially to that decision. And my view is that we should not get involved with supporting or otherwise, because, as has been said, it's a Cornwall County decision. And I don't think we should tie our hands, fetter our abilities in any way to take the decision at the time that we agreed and voted on over in the other meeting room. And we should just keep it clear, keep it simple, and wait for the 4-month period.
Councillor Roy, did you want to?
May I very quickly clarify something that Mr. Sheldon mentioned? So I think, from what I heard, I think that you were saying that the property would need to be registered as an asset of community value in order for the council to transfer or sell it to a community group. That is not the case. There's no requirement for it to be registered as such.
Got to make one addition. Sorry. I think actually, having looked at it quite closely recently, again, it's quite possible that it's not eligible anyhow, because it's substantially a residential property. Residential properties aren't eligible for registration. So, yeah, so there's So I'm not sure on that one, but if Councillor Pellerick is sort of suggesting that we just do nothing, that would be my view as well. Actually, that we don't do anything.
Councillor Roy, then Councillor Moores, and then we'll work around the table.
We're all going to have a go, aren't we? I can see. I don't think we're going to. Or my interpretation of the meeting we had in December was not that we would scrutinise your business plan for success or failure, just that it had to be a credible business plan, which I'm sure you wouldn't put it forward if it wasn't. And the point of that being is that we wouldn't want to transfer the property to a land trust that was setting itself up to fail. So I think we'd want to see some sense or some evidence that you had a reasonable chance of success in doing what you intend to do. And as I said, I can't imagine that you wouldn't do that. In terms of the time, I'm hoping that the council may have a little flexibility, because new evidence comes to light almost daily on funding for homes, because that's the game that I'm in, if you like. And I was having a meeting and a conversation today with a council officer who is called Sarah Roberts. Her role is an affordable housing enabler. You almost wouldn't believe such people existed, but they do. And I was saying to her, I was describing the situation with Lord's Court and North Carolina Community Land Trust, who aren't known to her. And she did actually say that she would get in contact with you, David, because there is some relatively new news developing from Homes England, where they are looking to fund smaller enterprises and projects exactly such as this one is. And it may well be that there are some pockets of funding that we haven't yet looked at that may be available to you. My opinion is, and I'm sure I believe it was the intent of the council at the time, was to strain every sinew to work with you and to make sure that Lord's Court did remain available for the purposes which we intended. So I would be doing my absolute best to persuade my colleagues that we do make it available to you. What's on the table in terms of making an asset of community value, I don't think is necessary, and I am ambivalent towards it, and I'm minded to say that we should probably just not do it at the moment until we really understand the ramifications better. If what you're saying is correct, I would vote for it, but I'm not sure it is.
That's fine. I'll just come back on that. Simply to ask, could I have an explanation? Because I did meet with council officers and was told this was the only way forward. Well, no, that's not fair. We thought it was the only way forward at the time, Tom, didn't we? We didn't talk about any other. I mean, so I'd just simply like to know what that other mechanism is so that we can understand properly.
I don't think
Do we have an answer on the spot? That is the...
No, I'm not.
No, sorry. Yeah.
If you can email me and let me know how that process will work.
Wait, sorry, I'm not quite clear about which process and also who you met with. Was it council officers here?
Yes.
Or?
I think it was Beth and I and somebody. Oh, and yes.
We didn't know, to be fair, at the time.
Can I just, Madam Chair, if I can just.
Yeah.
I had requested, and it had been requested from NALC, the advice on the issue of section 127 of the Government Act as to what we could and couldn't do in terms of disposing of the. The advice, I've been looking for the advice. I can't find it, but it wasn't very clear actually, which was disappointing. But I don't think, having done my own research as a lay person, I don't think there's too much issue about we being able to decide first, whatever is appropriate for yourselves and for this council, that we don't have to worry about putting it on the open market. I don't think that would be necessary. That's my. The other thing I was going to say something else and I've forgotten what it was.
If he comes back, we may let you.
Oh, thank you.
Councillor Moores.
Yeah, I was just going to, I think all the complications that this might involve by supporting the nomination, I'm going to propose that the council does not support the ACV nomination.
Okay, can I just before we...
Is that me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little bit confused in relation to this point that's being made about we can't necessarily ask things of Cornwall Council and discuss with them, because during the December meeting, when we had this conversation about tourism and that there was the new tourist board coming in to do with Cornwall Council, we voted on making a response to them about what we specifically want in terms of promoting Bude-Stratton tourism. We voted to make a response to them and speak to them. It wasn't a response. We were just going to speak to them about it. That's not necessarily different to what I was proposing earlier and what we're proposing here about this community asset situation. And furthermore, in the proposals of our vision for the Bude-Stratton Town Council, it was to improve the communication between us and Cornwall Council to make better connections to it so that we can achieve more things. I believe that that's contrary to that, because we are actually in fact limiting ourselves to only speaking when spoken to for lack of a better phrase. It is of my opinion that we should be supporting in any way we can this land trust into their business plan to make sure that it's credible, because that was something that was decided in that meeting of Lord's Court in November. That's all I have to say.
Thanks for Caldwell.
Yeah, I may have given the wrong signals in my first comments. I don't believe that this council has resolved to kind of scrutinise to the last, hate me, the business plan. It is the case that we would have to do due diligence upon any business plan. And I think this council has expressed, as Councillor LeBroy said, a desire to see North Colonel Land Trust as its preferred partner in this. And because we've done those things already at the previous meeting, I see that this asset of community value as just another way of endorsing that process. If this was going to be, if we had a private landlord giving the Community Land Trust 4 months and then possibly looking to chuck it on the open market, we would be banging down the door of County Hall asking for it to be registered as an asset of community value. Because although Councillor O'Sullivan may well be right that it affords little protection, it affords some protection, and it demonstrates, it is a demonstration that we believe as an organisation that the shop in Stratton is of considerable asset value to the community of Stratton, which is self-evidently the case. We saw the overwhelming participation at the last meeting saying the same thing. So from my point of view, this falls into those categories of a no-brainer.
Before we come back, as chair, I'm just going to say, at the hub, opening the hub the other day, I was talking to, I think it was Liam from Bude Post Office, and he was saying that they have a lot of their customers, actually in the summer months, who won't come into Bude because of traffic, but they will use the shop in Stratton for the post office. That's mine. Right. Councillor O'Sullivan, and then
The bit I'd forgotten.
Yeah, quick.
And this is brief because it was one of the things that was actually suggested when the Lord's Court was in the previous ownership, something that should have been done back then, and all the possibilities that have been as to why we shouldn't support it now, or the ones that why we should have done it 2 or 3 years ago.
Yes, I do remember it being talked about then. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that this is really necessary at this stage, and hearing people not really sure whether this is the only way or there are other ways, and not having a clear answer of what ways can we, move on from this if that is what happens. Until that, I'm not prepared to say that this is our only option and we should do it. So I think we had a proposal, so I would like to second that proposal.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say we have a proposal, and can you repeat your proposal again? Sorry.
Yeah, it was that the council does not support the ACV nomination asset of community value. If we want done with that.
Howard?
Or just.
May I clarify the proposal? Does that mean you're against supporting it, or you're taking no action to support it?
Not supporting it. Same thing, isn't it?
No.
Are you opposing it?
Are you opposing it, or are you taking no action to support it?
No, I would understand it is that we're not opposing it, we're not supporting it.
Yes, so you're not opposing?
No,
just
not
for
to support the application.
Which, yeah.
Not against. Yeah.
So we're not opposing either?
Well, you are, because you're not supporting it. So you're just not supporting it.
There's opposing and there's.
Well, you're not supporting the nomination, are you? That's all it is.
Yeah.
We've been asked to support, the council's been asked to support the nomination, so the council will vote either to or not to accept it. It's a yes or no. It's a binary thing.
Offering our support.
I think the recommendation here is that the officers recommend that the full council does not. So if we go with that recommendation that we do, as a full council, we do not formally support the ACB nomination for one or not support. That's the wording. So it's, we do not support.
There's a slight difference between not supporting and opposing.
Can somebody explain to me what it's got to do with Cornwall Council?
Legislation.
Everything. Earlier on, when he was on about the bailiffs, that's nothing to do with us, it's to do with Cornwall Council. Well, what the hell's this to do with Cornwall Council?
This is actually a decision for Cornwall Council.
Yes. What?
Yes. Whatever we decide is irrelevant anyhow.
Okay, can we, sorry,
If you're asking me to speak,
yeah.
I wish to use common sense again, in that Councillor Ormsbury-Watkins suggested that we follow the officer's recommendation.
I'm happy to amend it.
Lays it out, and it's effectively what Councillor Moore's asked for. So
I'll make it
prepared.
Which Jeremy had already seconded before.
Yeah, happy to change my.
Last word on it.
It's not a word. I can see the way this is going. I would like my vote to be recorded, please.
Yep. Is there anybody else who would like that? Oh, sorry.
I know I'm not a member of the committee, but I was just thinking if you added somewhere the words "at this time," then it doesn't preclude you from changing your mind later on. If that
anyway.
If you want to support it in the future, when the business plan comes back, it would leave you with that option to do so.
I think.
Councillor Rogers.
I just want to be clear. If we go down the line of following your suggestions, would that make a difference to what your next steps will be?
Until I understand what process the council is going to use to transfer the property to us, I can't move forward at all.
Business plan.
I don't know is the answer to the question.
Can we just make sure we captured that the decision to be made here may affect what they do.
Yeah. I think at the moment we have a lot of if, buts and maybes in this.
Can I try to help?
Yep.
What we're voting on is to support the officer's recommendation that we do not formally support the ACB nomination. My view, separate to that, is that it is for the Land Trust to come at the 4-month stage or whenever with the proposals, and we look at those proposals at that stage. It's all, to my mind, very simple. But then I'm a simpleton.
So just to be able to what will that do? What's the impact of that?
Nothing.
That's the process anyhow.
In my view, what it does is delay the time at which we will end up potentially taking ownership of the property.
There's no reason. No, I don't see that. That's not what we're here for, is my view. Yeah. Can I say that we're getting diverted into other things? We have a recommendation here. It's been proposed and seconded. Anything else is a different matter that should come in a different way.
That's.
Councillor Colwell asked for their vote to be recorded. I would like the same.
Okay. Anybody else would like their vote recorded?
So are you asking for a recorded vote or just your own vote?
Noted in the minutes.
Yeah.
A wide vote.
No, but are you for asking for a recorded vote? Everybody's.
Right.
Hold on. Sorry, can I?
Right, okay.
For clarification, if a recorded vote is requested, it has to be requested before the vote takes place, not afterwards. So are you, just for clarification, are you asking for just your own vote to be recorded or the vote?
In the same way that Councillor Colwell has asked for his own vote personally to be recorded, I am asking the same thing.
That's.
You can also after vote. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know.
Right. So that would mean that if Councillor Colwell votes for or against, it would be recorded for or against. If Lance votes for or against, would there anybody else like their votes recorded?
Yeah.
Councillor O'Sullivan?
Yeah.
Jennings?
Okay, I'll make it simpler.
Wilson?
Can I request a recorded vote, please?
Right, that's easier, right.
Everyone's got
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Could we then vote, could you just read it out again, please? Sorry.
As written, I mean, that's the.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it, yeah.
Officers recommend that full council does not formally support the ACV nomination for 1 Lord's Court.
All those in favour of that?
Please keep your hands up while Tracy records you.
All those against? Have we got everybody, Tracy? Yeah. All those against?
Just 2?
Three.
Three.
Councillor Sullivan, Colwell. It's a sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Abstain. 3. See the review, no incomplete.
Yeah, leave.
Yeah.
No.
I abstain.
That's 13.
Is that
We
right?
do know right now. Is that everybody?
No.
What did you got? 5 copies?
How many have you counted?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
14. Vicky, no, forgot Vicky.
Did you say?
12, 13.
Can you say?
I'm not.
13. Sorry, Faye, I've elevated you to the town council. I'm sure you're ready to, please.
Right.
Over there to avoid any confusion.
So we are going with the officer's recommendation.
Is that the result, right?
Yeah. 7 to 3.
I support.
Right, have you got the grants list in there? Can I didn't print that off?
Grants.
Even if you don't agree with them, I don't know.
Yes.
At least you should vote.
I didn't have a look at it earlier.
It's the head of opinion.
I know that.
Bill Coffingwell, mate.
That's overdue. The pills.
Could have done with that here.
That's for the business.
And they've got, they can all.
Thank you.
We can sell it less than I know.
Don't worry.
Give you time.
Bye.
What exactly is that?
That is an exceeding.
All like.
Sitting on our hands. But
Yes.
Mr. Jewell, welcome. So the council's asked to consider the possibility of supporting the residents of Stratton, I believe, in making an application to Cornwall Council to have the Lord's Court building registered as an asset of community value. The officers reviewed this and decided on the scheme of things that it wouldn't make a great deal of difference and actually in some senses might tie the hand of a councillor making a future decision. So the officer's recommendation was not to support it.
Right.
The decision to register the building as an asset of community value, the view of the town council really wouldn't have any sway with Cornwall Council anyway. It's entirely its own decision.
Yes.
So
if you did make an application to the Cornwall Council to do that, they could say that it's not anyway.
Yes, it's for them to decide.
Yes, has already made the application.
Sorry?
We were only being asked to support it, not to make it.
Yes, has made the application.
Oh, right.
Can I propose a supplementary proposal here on the basis? Well,
Go on, propose it. We don't have to.
yeah, quite simply, if Cornwall Council do decide to register as an asset of community value, that we automatically, we straight away inform them of our intention to enter into a relevant disposal so that the clock starts ticking straight away on that 6 month.
I know that's a secondary proposal, but I personally would like some more advice on that. Yeah. So could we ask the officers to
You're in the chair.
to look in?
That needs to be an agenda item. It's quite a large step to take.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
It's a big job. You haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, Councillor Jennings.
As I've understood everything so far, it doesn't really matter, but if this goes to Cornwall Council, do they decide the price?
No.
No.
No, you're all right there.
I wouldn't trust them to do anything.
Right, okay. If we can move on to the grants, please. Item 9, to consider and approve round 2 grant applications. I've nicked the sheet.
Yeah, I don't.
Who sent it? It's there somewhere.
Right, shall I read them out?
Read them out, please.
Yeah.
Yep, sitting comfortably.
Right. The first one is Bude in a Wheel. They are asking for £250, local charity, towards charity lunch expenses. All monies raised from the event are given to other charities.
They're asking for 250.
So the way I understood it is they need the money to put on the lunch. They then charge for the lunch. They then make more money, which then goes out to local charities. Sounds fair enough to me. We have given them grants previously in February and January, February 23 and January 25. Any comments from anybody?
Are they making a profit out of their dinners?
I don't know.
So, if only know, but you might as well just give £250 to charities if they're not making money out of it. If they're making money, that's fine.
I would imagine if they then give money out to other charities, that this is like the seed fund.
Yeah.
And that if you look, they've come to us in January and February 23 and January 25, which is often a lean time of year.
Yeah.
So it might be that they need it in their finances. We work this way around the table this time. Lance?
Let's ask, I think, maybe this question. Do we have figures of how much money they had raised during these events in the past?
Was that on any application form?
I sent all the application forms out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd look through them, but it's...
No, it doesn't say that.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Sullivan?
So what we're being asked is to give money to a charity who will then decide where they're going to allocate that money.
Yeah.
So why doesn't the charities that want money come to us straight? You know, we're handing the decision over to these people to decide where council money is allocated, really.
Yeah. I would imagine it's like the key funding that then...
This is to help them put on the event, the charity lunch.
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah.
And they invite lots of people to the charity lunch. They pay to come to the charity lunch. Any money they raise at the charity lunch goes into their funding to give to other people throughout the year. It's just to help them put on their charity lunch, basically. Which is well attended by the Carcass and it's full.
Yeah, I think actually I've been down here one day when they were putting it on and it's full. Kevin?
Is this effectively another way of giving them use of our facilities? Is it a roundabout way of giving them use of our facilities for free, in effect? So in this, as you would say, the leanest time of the year, in a roundabout way, we're allowing them to use the facility, which is a Barkhouse Centre, and the kitchen to put on a lunch, and that money is then distributed, or the surplus from that is distributed to other charities. So we aren't in effect doing much more than giving them around about free use of the Parkhouse Centre.
I'm not sure on the exact hiring fees for the Barcode Centre for the day for that, but apparently they this is what it costs them to put on a charity lunch. It's just over £1,000.
And how much profit do they make?
Well, I don't know. Peter LeBroy.
I've got two questions, so if you indulge me, I need the answer in order to do the second one. So through you, could I ask the assistant clerk in the meeting, do all these applications meet our criteria?
Yes, because otherwise they wouldn't be on the table.
Okay, in which case, because it's far less than our allocated pot for this, I propose that we accede to all of these grants and provide them.
Can I second that?
All of them. Yeah. I wanted to mention something about one of them, so.
Right. Can we just have a consensus of opinion? Do we want to accept Peter?
One by one.
Or do we would we like to go one by one? Hands up for all as one. Hands up for one by one.
Why can't we just say, do any councillors want to talk about any of these by exception?
I just think it's easier to run down one by one. Right.
I was any wheels granted £250, and there you go.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
Has received the actual applications?
So during the full council agenda email you have sent out, there are several different attachments of the different items on the agenda. There is not an item 9 attachment that I can see. Therefore, there's nothing for the grant.
Can I second Councillor Morse's proposal?
Thanks, Pete.
Okay.
What was the proposal?
I'd say the 250.
We haven't got it.
Right, hold on. What was Councillor Moore's proposal?
250.
Right. All in favour of paying 250?
I do good work with it, so.
Yes, quite.
Exercise for mobility. Assistant driver mileage, 1 year period. Transport for eligible members to classes. Members pay towards mileage. Current funding expires 31st of December 25. February 24, they had 950 grant equipment. February 25 again, 950 equipment. Do I have to declare an interest because my mother attends the mobility classes? They're exceedingly beneficial.
For clarity, they have a driver who helps people who cannot get there. There at the moment they are funded by the lottery, which is running out very soon for that. They pick up the people, bring them, take them away, and they charge the people £1 or £2 for the privilege of that. So it doesn't cover the driver or the mileage. That's why they're asking for it.
I would say if it's very beneficial to those who are often neglected, and I know from my mother's experience that going to the mobility classes, it's not just about the exercise, it's about the social experience as well, and that is for people who don't always get out that often. Okay?
Yeah, I would like to propose that.
Second.
All in favour? Thank you. Also, community transport, £500 for the charity towards running costs. Transport supports Bude-Stratton area. June 24, they had £500. Again, a very worthwhile charity because I believe that they go around and pick up people and organise day trips for nominal payment, I believe. Councillor Colwell.
Yeah, they run a bus service around Bude, and unfortunately, Bude Age Concern has recently withdrawn quite considerable funding from them. So I would have doubts whether that £500 is either here nor there. I suspect they may have significant difficulty running that service into Bude going forward. As I say, Age Concern very reluctantly had to withdraw funding to concentrate on funding for transport to hospitals and other health appointments.
In which case, every penny helps to them.
The total project costs are £15,685.
Councillor Moores?
156,000.
It's going up.
I know some people who do use this service, and one of the reasons that I've supported it in the past is because community transport limited, I guarantee, gave our residents who used it a 50% reduction in their fares. Like if they did a day trip or something to Barnstable, they'd get it for £7 return, but now it's 14. But then because they're not given the 50% reduction.
It wasn't ever in their gift. That was the contribution of Bude Age Concern. So they were always receiving the full fare. It was just Bude Age Concern was covering half of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I took the time to look into some of the accounts of Halsey Community Rural Transport, and they do have significant reserves. 123,000 the last accounting period. Their salaries 104,000 year before last and 80 last year. They've received 82,000 of grants already. 23-24, 24-25 accounts aren't visible yet, but they do receive significant grants and they've got significant reserves. So I'm not too, given the amount of people that actually benefit in Bude, I think it's a bit disproportionate. So I wouldn't support the 500. Not now.
Just a question for Councillor Colwell, because he talked about Age Concern withdrawing their donations. Did they bring forward a reason why they stopped doing that?
Age Concern, I don't believe I'm breaching any confidentiality. Age Concern had a significant legacy some years ago, and we were able to offer services beyond the core services of hospital and health transport. And one of the things that was done was to subsidise Halsey Community Transport. So they came to Bude and they did these trips, which the Bude residents were subsidised. Now, we have subsequently, as these things happen, we've burnt through that legacy. We're now in the business of having to fund our operations from the revenue from the shop, and we're having to cut our cloth accordingly. So to concentrate on the core business of the health service trips, we've withdrawn that grant to Halsey. And we didn't just have a cliff edge, they knew it was coming. But my understanding from talking to them is that it is not at all given that they will continue to bring the bus into Bude. But that is a matter that would have to be discussed with them.
I was asking in case this this Halsworthy this group where there was something that they had done conduct-wise that made Age Concern withdraw.
No, not at all. I mean,
it was just money.
Yeah, it was simply that in the situation of not having that legacy funding, we have, and also having greater demands for healthcare transportation, we've had to refocus.
Got it. Thank you.
Jeremy?
We've just heard that they may not be coming into Bude. Therefore, my question is, why would we be giving any money to them without a guarantee of some provision for Bude? The question, Bude-Stratton.
I do know, though, from Buchanan Harbour Society hat, that I believe we've used them for transport.
Yeah, in the past.
Yeah.
But I come back to my question.
Yeah.
That was in the past. We've just heard. We've heard that they aren't potentially coming into Bude. Therefore, why would Bude-Stratton Town Council give them any money without some kind of assurance of the service?
I think it's a rhetorical one, isn't it? Really, but I think it does hire out the minibuses on a commercial basis. So though it might have come and done some, and I think the drivers are voluntary as well. So I don't know where the salaries go.
Have you got any other information, Tracy?
Salaries, national insurance and pension are £99,000.
But who has it? The directors?
Right. Answer quickly.
No, I was going to make the proposal. I propose that we do accept this grant on the condition that they continue services in Bude. If that is refused, then we do not give that money donated.
And we do. We can't. I don't think we can do that.
Okay, then I'm going to propose that we don't.
Okay. All those in favour? All those against? Abstain? Against. Yeah.
I couldn't see it.
Do you want again? Let's do it again.
I think it was declined.
Yeah, sorry. It was declined, it was fine. Yeah, it was. But then you've got to decide how much now, because.
I think it was 4-5.
Do you want to do it again?
Sorry, I couldn't see it.
Right. All those in favour?
Of not giving.
Not giving.
Not giving any money.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
All those against? In other words, giving the money.
That's another 4.
1 to 4.
5.
You got your?
No,
No.
Was it level, was it?
That's Tom, Peter, Katie, Pam, and Paul.
Yeah. And abstain. I must.
And 2 abstain.
So
Yeah.
you've given them some money.
Yeah, but you've got to decide how much now.
Do we actually need?
Well, no, 'cause-
Sorry, do we actually need a resolution to pay it? Because all we've done is saying we're not refusing.
Propose that the grant is made of £500.
I second that.
Yeah. Right. All those in favour that the £500 grant is paid.
There was an amendment, I wanted to.
Oh, and we have an amendment on the table. Madam Clerk.
Good.
Here's the amendment.
Right. Can I hear the amendment, please?
Yeah, well, given the lack of clarity whether the service will continue, I propose that it's amended to 250.
Need to vote on.
Right. Can we vote on the amendment? Do we need to second the amendment? So we have a proposed that the grant is reduced to £250. Would somebody like to second that?
Fails.
No?
Carry on.
Amendment is defeated, as you were.
Right.
As you were.
So they are getting £500. Vote for £500.
That's okay, yeah. That's
Good. Got there in the end.
Are they getting the money or not?
They are.
Yeah.
I'll ring them up tomorrow.
Right. Sorry.
I would like to know whether they do come into Bude. If they don't come into Bude, I'd say next year we don't give them that.
That's fine. We will try and find that out.
Yeah. Right, moving on to the third Rowan Scouts. £859 charity, equipment sharing kit. In 23-24, we gave them a grant of 1,500 for a mess tent.
So this is a kit for sharing between scout groups in the area. Other local groups will be able to borrow the camp equipment. The shelter will be used for the district or county-wide activities, would benefit the Scouts members from all over Cornwall. They will also be able to run a common session with the local Scout first group and second group, Stratton and Jacobsdale, and the Explorer section.
Okay.
I propose that we give them the money.
I'll second that.
I wanted to ask a question, I'm afraid.
Right, question.
If it's helping across all over Cornwall, do we know of any other town councils who are also paying towards this?
No, they.
Or are they just asking for us?
They have.
Right.
Right, this would go to this particular scout group.
Yeah.
And the way the scouts operate is then they may loan it out, but quite often they have, is it jamborees they call them? Big camps
Okay.
where all the scouts gather, they do a worldwide one, and they end up taking their kit with them, etc., etc.
Got it, all right.
So it would principally benefit Bude.
Yeah, I've seconded it.
But it could. Right.
Thank you.
So we have a proposal for it. We have a seconder. All those in favour? Right. Do we now need to vote on the full amount? Or are we quite happy all with the?
No, you've agreed the full amount.
Right.
200,000 was fine.
Big tent.
Hang on. That was my name there. ADSER. They're asking for £2,000. It's a charity. They're asking for it to run 40 adaptive surf sessions at £50 per session. 200 other sessions to be funded from other sources. In 23-24, we gave them a grant of 2,000 for surf sessions. I know this group do an awful lot of benefit in the area, and they do go out of their way, well, to ensure that people who may not be able to get into the water easily actually get into the water. And I also believe they've got a couple of beach wheelchairs that people can I'm not sure, hire or borrow. So I should imagine their running costs as a charity, it can be quite high. Kate?
I propose that we give them the grant.
Huh?
Second that we give the grant.
Right, all those in favour? Passed. Right, Bude Choral Society. £800 charity, running costs including venue but not the park house. Apparently they now hire the Methodist Church Hall. In 23-24 they had a grant of 450 for music scores. In 24-25 they had a grant of 350 for music scores community outreach.
I propose that we give them the grant.
Do we have a seconder? We have, yeah. All those in favour?
The grant.
Any against? 2 against? Any abstainers?
Just for clarity, it's only the amount. I would have been happy with something less, but given they don't hire the park house anymore. That was the only reason. Get back.
Right.
Someone else's hall,
Moving on.
Thank you, everybody. I apologise if you, for some reason, didn't get the paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologise for that.
Oh, I'll let you have that.
Through you, Madam Chair, can I just?
Yeah.
We just listen to... Sorry. I'm sure Assistant Clerk will correct me if I'm wrong. That was undersubscribed for that round of grants. There was £10,000 available, and barely half of that was subscribed for. So whether as councillors you want to further promote the grant scheme to your esteemed electorate or not, I'll leave that to you.
Councillor Moore?
I was going to just leave it where it is and it will just get swept up and top up our general reserve, which is woefully too low already.
Yeah. Do we have to pass that?
No, I was just informing you it was undersubscribed. That's all.
Yeah. How did the Scouts manage to make 859? What did they just call it? 860?
Probably due diligence.
Because that's what it cost them for all the bits.
Yeah, but boy, I'm in the pay.
Right, okay, moving forward. To approve terms of reference to meet the councillor sessions.
Excuse me,
We recommend we agree them.
Yes.
Councillor Sullivan?
I'd like to correct.
Can we have one voice, please?
I'd like to correct something that was said at the last meeting after I left. When Councillor Osby-Watkins said that sessions have continued at Stratton without the approval of the council. That's actually false. It's not true. There's been one meeting council since May, and that did have the approval of the town clerk. So I'd just like to make that point.
You want that minuted?
If it's appropriate, yes. Because and if I may further add, there was a conversation around team sessions. That was a team session. There was also a conversation around reporting back. In fact, I reported back to the town clerk on the Monday morning after that one. So it was, you know, we're already kind of complying with what it was. But if I can also say that I agree with the comments that made by Councillor LeBroy at the last meeting. I find it strange that because these surely are informal, and having terms of reference for something that is intended to be informal, I find difficult. I don't understand why we need to have terms of reference for everything. And can I ask, for example, the youth group, does the youth group, meetings of the youth group, is there terms of reference? Sorry? is there,
The young people's working group is not part of the council,
right,
but we do have a terms of reference, yes.
right,
But it is not part of Bude-Stratton Town Council. The young person's working group is part of community area partnership.
right. And the skate park user group, did that help?
I have no idea, you'd have to ask.
I'm just, the
Yeah,
point I'm
yeah.
making is that there's informal meetings
Yeah.
going on all the time and don't have terms of reference. I don't see why, I really don't see the need for terms of reference for informal meetings.
Honestly, I was a bit confused by the terms of reference for meet the councillors, because I was under the impression that if there was a meet the councillors meeting, councillors would go along with the agreement of the clerk or deputy clerk. Is that not how it works? So it's technically separate things.
It is, yeah. So I was in a bit of an awkward position writing terms of reference for something which is your organised, for you to organise. But there are some serious points, and I think the one around personal safety is very serious.
Yeah, the safety point is relevant, I think, and quite useful. But where I was confused was, am I going there as a meet the council informally to talk to people and get their feedback and chat to them and be open and honest as a person or as a councillor? Now, if I'm as a person, that's great, but there's a fine line there, because you're saying that it's not with your blessing or whatever you want to call the words.
I think the clue is in the name. If you're advertising it, no, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that sounds patronising. If you're advertising it as meet the councillor, you're a councillor.
So are we advertised it and the councillors have it?
What you choose to call it is entirely up to you. It's not an officer's call.
If you were to do a different meeting of members of the public, it wasn't to do with any of the councillors. It's councillor.
I was just going to second the proposal, which was to
It don't
accept
matter,
the terms
does
of
it?
reference.
If you're walking around Bude, people will stop you because you're a councillor.
Oh, you true?
Away from it.
Yeah.
Bloody woman stopped me outside the library Monday, she's on about the ducks.
Not mowing.
Right.
I quite like to.
Rose Sullivan. Can we have one voice, please?
There is surely a difference. There is surely a difference between having, whether you're as an individual or as a councillor, agreeing to meet with residents if you wish, versus advertising it as an approved town council meet the council session. There is a difference there.
Move we take the vote, Mr. Chairman, please. Enough discussion.
So what's the answer? Sorry, what's the answer?
To approve terms of reference and meet the councillor session.
What Thomas just said, there is a difference there. So what is the answer?
Well,
Is it formal or not? Has it got the blessing of the council or not?
Adam.
Yeah, so if I can clarify a little bit, so it's so you would be meeting in your capacity as councillor, and is an organised event. However, it's not a formal town council meeting such as this, which has the support of officers. So basically you're on your own, but you're out there doing, engaging with the community, but it's up to you as a collective to organise that, to promote it. But and we're just trying to provide some sort of guidelines in terms of how you go about that and ensuring your safety and ensuring that you promote that yourselves.
Thank you very much. Yeah, makes
That's very common.
that makes sense.
Most town parish councils, well, certainly town councils, undertake a sort of regular meet the councillor exercise.
Okay.
But would I be right in saying it doesn't prevent individual councillors from meeting with residents whenever they like?
No.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Does that answer your question?
Right. So, coming back to what it says on the agenda.
Yeah, take a vote.
Yeah. Oh, who was my proposer?
I'm quite happy.
Jeremy. Right. We have a fight for seconder. All those in favour? All those against? One. Abstain? One. Right. That's all right. Having bumped 13 up. To consider making an expression of interest to the Highways Minor Improvement Scheme and approve any associated actions. Yeah, I was just going to say this is in the Councillor Le Broy's sort of territory usually.
Sorry.
He likes his one-way systems.
Is he?
Are we listening, please, ladies and gentlemen?
If the meeting's in order. So there is a small pot of money given to every community area partnership to deliver minor road improvements. These could be things such as double yellow lines, or perhaps zebra crossings or crossing islands. And the idea is that each parish council or town council puts forward proposals for minor road schemes. Now, the amount of money is tiny. I can't remember what the amount was, but it's
okay for us.
It's not very much at all, and it won't deliver very many schemes. However, I'm aware that other parishes have put in identified schemes, and this is our opportunity as a council to nominate some schemes which can then be in turn endorsed by the council vote and put forward to the community area partnership. Now, I've got a list of them, which I'll be happy to put forward, and I think it'd be great to get opinion. Right, so I had huge amount of input from parents of the primary school who would like some form of formalised crossing on Holnacott Road on the old Pathfields route. And there used to be a lollipop crossing there, which is now no longer, and the children are crossing without any supervision at all. So whether it's a zebra crossing or a different treatment of the council, I would like that to be put forward. Number two was I had a resident ask me for a crossing on Stratton Road. So if you imagine you're exiting Bude on the A3072, you pass the Esso garage. It's not an Esso. Is it still an Esso?
Shell.
Whatever it is now. I used to call
It's no longer Cam Medlands.
Okay, you drive past Cam Medlands, you go around the left-hand bend past Kings Hill, and as you start to raise up the road, it's very difficult to cross the road there. And if you are living in any of those properties, to go back up towards Hawthorne Road cross and then come back down again is unlikely to happen. I've discussed it with a highways network manager. He thought it was an appropriate place to put some form of crossing, so I'd like to put that one forward as well. The other one that I'd like to put forward is, it's a bit more difficult, but I've noticed this because I'm now a proud grandparent of a grandson who lives on the Binnamy Farm estate, Shorelands, and I, with my wife, regularly cross the road by Morrison's, and I've noticed you're taking your life into your hands when you cross that bit of road. It's really dangerous. So I'd like to see some form of an enhancement or traffic slowing around that area that would make it easier to cross. And then the final one is a crossing by the business known as the Coffee Pot in Bude, which is on Morwenna Terrace, and an awful lot of people are crossing the road there to go to Sainsbury's, and that can be quite a tricky point to cross. So there's 4 schemes that I would like to put forward personally, and if anybody else would like to put anything else forward, I'd be delighted.
Well, as chair, I'm going to take the presumptive of being first on this one. Totally agree with Holnacott Road, and I totally agree with the rest of them. Holnacott Road is a nightmare for children trying to get to school. Zigzag lines would really help because you get the issue with parked cars near where the children come across. So yeah, I'm on board with all of those.
I've got 2 I wanted to. One actually might conflict with one of Peter's, so I'll come back to that one. But
no fights.
I've got by the GP surgery hospital in Stratton on Hospital Road. You've also got a bus stop there, and again there's crossing that road, particularly if you've got a child with you, it is really quite difficult. I've discussed this with the highways manager, and I think he's in agreement that there should be some kind of crossing there, but it's quite a tricky area for various reasons because you've got residential parking, double yellow lines, the bus stop and the hospital. But I think if we were to put that forward, even if it wasn't possible to fund it through this scheme, it might go on the list for future projects anyway. And then the other one was, you mentioned the crossing by Morrison's, and I agree that's terrible, but I was also thinking further up Coast View, where the path comes out of the Binnamy estate and crosses over to the New Cavanagh estate, whether that is again a suitable place for a crossing.
I totally agree with the Stratton one by the think, because most people have to park in Howells Bridge car park.
And then walk up the road and
Yeah. So, we'll go this way around the table.
Yeah, roads aren't designed for people, are they? That's the trouble. The junction at the bottom of Kings Hill coming on to the road into Bude for cars, they could widen that. It's a massive piece of ground there. I know there's a sign in the middle, but you could have a slip road to go straight in where people are turning right to go up the hill to run people over. They're walking across the road.
You'd speed the running over up.
Yeah, that junction.
So I've had lengthy conversations with the.
Too costly?
No, it could be done, but there are lots of reasons that I can't quite remember and give you an accurate response.
Yeah.
But they found lots of reasons not to do what you're suggesting. But turning right out of Kings Hill to go up onto Stratton.
That's like blocks all the traffic.
Would you like him to email?
No.
If he remembers.
Fully aware of it. But that was one for the drivers as opposed for the walkers.
If people drive appropriately, they sneak across to the right, and traffic can still fill the left anyway. It's the,
If people drive appropriately,
they drive very well, park in the middle of the road and block it, isn't it?
Okay, moving on. Lance?
Just a question in terms of this item on expression of interest. Who is this expression of interest being given to?
Cornwall Council.
So again, I dare ask, how is this different to what I was previously proposing and what was being proposed in the item for Lord's Court?
Totally different thing.
But in terms of
They've
speaking
invited
to
us.
Cornwall Council,
They've
they invited
invited
us.
us.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Can I ask if this includes maybe making an amendment to something you've already done?
Yeah, why not?
So I think the one that's been put down the road by, you come out here and you go round the Crescent and then you stop at the, just before tourist information. There's a zebra crossing there.
Yeah.
I can't see in my Mini past the cars, let alone anybody walking on the crossing. And you've just come past another roundabout and then you've got another crossing the other side. It's a bit too close. Could it be moved further down? To come out?
It's part of a cycle route.
Is it just too big a drop?
You have to be alert.
Or taller? Why? Can I ask why? Is it just impossible?
So if we were to move that, you'd have the cost of removal plus the cost of reinstating. So you would lose the opportunity to do anything anywhere else. And you could put it forward and see if the council votes on it, but I would veto it. Because I could do that. Democracy. Well, I might as well be honest.
Does anybody else not find it an issue there?
Yeah, it is an issue.
It's very terrible.
And the one by the Globe is an issue as well.
Put it forward, because it's an issue. It is objective.
But they've only just gone in, so the chances of getting them ripped out are slim. Kate?
I'm sure this is nowhere near enough money and I don't really know what the answer is to this. But Berries Avenue is an absolute nightmare. And how buses and cars, and if there was an emergency up there and we had fire engines flying up there, you've got so many cars parked both sides. You're driving like this all the way along. It's an absolute nightmare. And I mean, obviously the speed thing we've discussed and hopefully that's going to happen. Because that's also a huge issue. Speeding up Berries Avenue is, you can hear it at night, it's awful, but just drive, you are driving like this as you're going through, and then one person has to pull over and you let a few people through and then you go round. And I don't know what the answer is, of what can be done, but
make it pedestrianised.
It's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Well, so through the chair, I'll respond to that. If you put that, because I have put that, not that specific case, but that principle, I've put that to the traffic managers, and they always say, well, that slows the traffic down really well. To which it's quite difficult to respond to that. But if you make it open, then people will drive faster. Which it's an odd argument that I haven't worked out how I feel about it.
It's more how the buses get through sometimes, I have no idea. And I just think if one day there was a big emergency and you had to have, there would be cars smashed all over, because I know they wouldn't stop.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
But it would,
Right.
I don't know what the answer is, but I do get a lot of people tell me it's just awful. And I know it's awful.
Well, you could propose that traffic management on Berries Avenue be looked at
14 is that Scouts?
14,
Yeah. Mike Dorr assured me that this would be a short and sweet session. However, we are time-wise, we are starting to run on a bit. So 15 minutes? I propose 15 minutes. Seconded? All those in favour? Right, put your hands down unless you want to talk about traffic. Darky.
This morning with this meeting, I brought it up. The bloke come at the meeting, 3 meetings ago, about the speed of the traffic going up and down Coast View. Well, I thought we were going to get a couple of those flashing signs, slow down, whatever. Like we've got at Kings Hill.
There is one.
There is one at Kings Hill.
No, it's at Coast View.
Whereabouts?
Up the top, near the That's Peter?
I haven't seen one yet.
No. Ones you've got? Yes, of course. Yes.
They put a camera sign up.
No.
All right.
Like the one we've got.
Could we have one voice, please?
The one like we've got it coming down into Kings Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that, if you're coming down there.
Yeah, I know the one, yeah.
Slow down. Well, we want one starting to go up, go around Cam Metlin's corner, a little way up there. And you need another one up the Irish side of the Morrison's roundabout. And you want 2 coming down the other way.
Right, Councillor Broy, I believe.
You may remember through the chair at a previous meeting, we agreed for our facilities team to work with the traffic management officer to take on board a used traffic sign. They would put some poles up to which to attach it to. And we would take the responsibility for redeploying it at various different sites along Coast View. And that conversation is due to happen very shortly. I've been assured by the assistant clerk today when I followed up that matter after listening to you in that meeting this morning.
Yeah, well, I can't work out what you're going to do with this flashing thing that you can move.
Keep moving from pole to pole.
Keep moving around.
We can only afford one.
Anyway,
that's all.
Right, something is in action. Kevin, quick.
There used to be, I don't know if there still is, old people crossing type signs or be aware of old people. As somebody who works quite a lot with old people, I would suggest along the front of, what is it, Hanover House there? Because cars do tend to kind of build up speed as they come down Linstone Road and they whip around there a little bit lively.
Councillor Broy, would you like to add that to your list? And old people?
No, Councillor Cole already has.
Right.
I'm sort of surprised they're not already there.
Right.
There's one on the bridge. There's one on the bridge.
Right, really? Going down to Stratton towards the hospital, they put yellow lines up to stop people parking there. But now people were parking smack right on the corner. Better off to move the lines up a bit further, so at least it would give you a chance if somebody comes around that corner.
Having had to go to Stratton Hospital the other morning, I do rather agree with you.
And secondly, is the crossing at the Bank Hoolan is an accident waiting to happen. It'll be only a matter of time.
Point of clarification, the restriction on that bend is no parking at any time, but the lines have worn away. So the
yeah, there are, yeah.
They're 10, 15 foot.
Oh, they are, but they've worn away. So yeah, they are very faint there if you look.
Hospital Road.
Yeah, around the bend. The signs are there, but the lines have gone.
Right. So, to consider making an expression of interest to the Highways Millennium Improvement Scheme and approve any associated actions.
So if I may, I believe the assistant clerk to the meeting has noted all of those proposals. And then we can put them all forward. And then in some sort of fun fight that probably Faye and I will be involved in, we'll sift through. The highways manager will say what's practical and what isn't practical, and it'll cost them up, and then we'll have some sort of
if you could put Holycote Road at the top of the list, I will be happy.
Yeah, and work out which ones can or can't be afforded. If the council is happy to put those forward, I think you should take a vote on it and it will be formally endorsed.
Quite easy, Holycote Road first, hospital second.
No.
Right, all in favour?
What's the lot?
Do we need a seconder for that?
I usually have a proposal.
Okay, right, moving on. That's number 13, which we've done. I'm going to make a suggestion that, as you've all seen, hopefully today on the email, that there's a few more things we need to know about. Item number 14.
Yeah, we've missed one, sorry.
What about 12?
Yeah, we need to do 12.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry.
12. To agree a means of responding to the Cornwall Council consultation on rural buses by the 18th of January.
Can I, through you, Madam
Yeah.
Chair? So much like with the Visit Cornwall survey that we were invited to respond to, this is a survey that will require the council to give a response. Trying to do that in committee is very difficult. Lots of people have different views, and allowing your officers to do it is probably not very democratically sensible because that's our view and not yours. So if we could do as we did with the visitor survey, nominate somebody to come and, or somebody's to come and do that with an officer before that end date, then we could probably do it that way if that's helpful. Obviously, Councillor Jennings has a particular interest in transport, so perhaps he'd like to.
Yes, and I emailed through Tracy for Councillor Jennings some papers regarding bus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read most of that.
Yeah.
I've read it 3 or 4 times really for I understand.
Yeah, so should we
If
nominate?
Councillor Jennings is willing to do it, then
Councillor Jennings, are you would?
Yeah, I'll come, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got this meeting, which I think I have, they haven't said it in on yet, on the 27th down at Bodmin with these transport people.
Well done.
But they're going to be in for a shock.
Yeah, but you got to get there first.
Yeah. I'm going on the bus, so it might not happen.
Right, we need to vote on that. So I propose yes.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favour?
Nominate Councillor Jennings.
Thank you. Wonderful. Most kind.
You.
Right, okay, now we can finally go to number 14. To consider a proposal to take ownership of land at Binamy, Shorelands to lease First Bude Scout Group. Now, there are, I believe, some other issues that need to be explored before we actually think about this. My personal opinion is that we seem to be taking on land everywhere, which means we have to pay for the upkeep of it. Which means the residents of Bude-Stratton have to pay for the upkeep of it. That's just my personal opinion. Peter Brewer.
I'm not sure if you're opening this up by saying we're not going to vote on it. But if we are going to vote on it, then I'll speak. If we're not going to vote on it, I'll save the time.
So I know Councillor Gibbs was also involved, and so I'm given the amount of time, might be better to defer unless there's any.
It's only 2 weeks to election. Yeah. By the way, not a month.
Would that be okay?
Because there's a lot I'll say, and there will be a lot of debate. But if there's no vote to be taken, let's save the time.
Sure.
Okay, I'm sure.
Do we need to vote to defer?
Oh.
Mr. Barrett.
Yeah, can I just ask a question? What does take ownership infer? Are you buying it, are you leasing it, or being given it, or what?
Right, okay, so the explanation is, as part of the original planning permission, the landowner up on that estate had to provide some community land, which is great, and it had to be made available for a peppercorn fee, £1. Right, now, what we have a situation is that could potentially time out. So if the owner, Vistry or Bovis Homes as you know them, if that times out, which I think we're fairly close to now, if no community group comes forward and takes that land, it will just be absorbed back into the developer's stock and they could build homes on it and make the profit. However, Bude Scout Group has come forward and said that they would like to do something with the land. And I've had conversations with both Cornwall Council and the Scout Group. And the principle at play here is that if you have a small group which exists on the goodwill of the people that are involved on the day, as Scout groups are, that they fold in 15 years' time, then that land ends up potentially in limbo and not being able to have anything done with it. So the principle at stake here is that the authority, which has longevity, we know it will be here forever, if we take ownership of the freehold of the land and then in turn lease it to the Scouts group, they take absolute responsibility for the land on probably a 100-year lease or something similar. But if ever they should choose to relinquish that lease, then we would eventually take it back on and ensure it stays in the hands of the community. So I would have wholeheartedly supported this. It would be a little bit of effort, probably not too much, because Cornwall Council would take care of all the legals But we're not going to vote on it.
No, you've just put a different spin on it that I hadn't thought about. Okay.
Well, we could vote on it now, we know all about it.
Can I just clarify with Councillor Lefroy, if he knows, is the deadline as imminent that we need to make a decision tonight?
Well, the honest answer is no, I don't know that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on spot, I just wanted to make sure we don't miss your opportunity.
I mean, through you, the chair, if the council is satisfied that it's something it would like to do, then you could take the vote tonight.
Indeed.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I think nothing would change one.
Yeah, as long as there aren't any implications that we're not, but it sounds like there aren't any implications. So,
I don't, not that would concern me, no.
I propose we take ownership.
Well, good, second it.
Did you want to say?
Yeah, would the scouts be responsible for keeping the upkeep of the building and everything around?
Yes.
Not the grass, but the building.
Everything.
And the grass, I would,
Grass?
Yeah, everything.
because that would be wrapped into the lease. wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As long as that's all right.
Yes.
I'll second it. If you.
Yeah, just think in the future, if it comes back to us, we could build affordable housing there.
Toilet.
Place for a community centre.
Hang on a minute.
we have potentially that we seek legal advice.
Yeah.
Just
Right. Yeah. Could we do this in principle, subject to legal advice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bit of due diligence. Jeremy.
What the legal advice would be doing, do we have to pay for that legal advice or?
This is Bovis we're dealing with.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But then Cornwall Council, we've just heard, are dealing with the legals. So
I think in terms of due diligence from your officers, we have to ensure that if you do say yes to this, that we're not setting you up with something that you may, minded of other assets you may have entered into. So that's the legal advice I'm seeking before you absolutely say yes.
So if our legal officer can then liaise with Cornwall Council and just check.
Tom.
In principle, yeah. Yeah, I suppose the one concern I'd have about it is that it's sort of two resolutions really, isn't it? Not firstly to take ownership and then to lease. So should we have they're separate items, I suppose, really, aren't they? Even though if we take ownership, it's with the intention of.
Yeah, that is a valid point.
It's one sentence. Here, you understand it? Yeah. You voted on it?
But are we agreeing a lease? We still have to agree a lease.
Yeah, it's agreeing a lease. Yeah. But before we've actually taken ownership.
You're doing it all in principle.
Yes. Right.
So
Okay.
If the principle proves to be unworkable, we don't do it.
Right. Kate.
No, I was just going to say, I assume the only reason we will be taking on this land is
in order to.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so they go hand in hand. If the scouts didn't want it, we wouldn't have it.
Yeah, it's just that as long as we're clear that we're not agreeing a lease.
Yeah, thank
you. No, well said. Kevin, on, because we're time.
Okay, we're minded to do this, so let's do it.
Right.
Excellent. Yes.
In principle, right, I propose that in principle.
Subject to legal advice.
Subject to legal advice, that we, Bude-Stratton Town Council, take ownership of land at Binamy Shawlands, lease to potentially, in principle, lease to First Bude Scout Group. Kate seconding that.
Just take the legal advice.
Yeah. All those in favour?
All those in favour?
Great. Thank you very much.
Right. To receive correspondence from the clerk.
Hours.
There is nothing from the clerk.
Next meeting.
To note date of the next meeting. It is Thursday, the 5th of February, 2026. Meeting is now closed.
Thank you very much. Hooray.